stuff. So right when I get done, if you just want to take it and talk weather, I'm just going to look and smile about it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
We can do that.
No. Oh. I like to be in the loop.
Yes, I do. Thank you, you too.
I do. Check, check.
Fox Carolina The Morning News at 10 starts right now.
We're following breaking news from Lawrence, where police tell us the search for a man wanted in a deadly assault is now over. We have live updates from Lawrence coming up straight ahead. Plus, new numbers paint a promising picture in the fight against COVID-19, but we still need to be vigilant. We'll have more on that coming up. Good morning to you and happy Wednesday. I'm Ted Payton here with Margaret Bergquist back in the studio. Great to have you.
Good to be around other people. You know, we're making some changes to get back to normal. And, you know, when it comes to retail stores, everybody wants to get back to normal. And we're going to talk about some post-pandemic retail changes. A lot of those big box stores shifting back to their full capacity, their regular hours. They're reopening the fitting rooms again so you can try stuff on, and even free samples might be making a comeback. So all those are coming up, Ted.
Yeah, I used to always coordinate going to Sam's around lunchtime
Yes.
to get the free samples.
Yeah, well, that's back. There'll be some changes, but we'll talk about those too.
All right. Well, looking forward to it. And of course, we do want to talk about that forecast. Meteorologist Kylie Miller standing by with the first look as folks maybe look to head out the door.
Yeah, and maybe you're going to be heading out to lunch pretty soon. Well, we're going to need the umbrella as some isolated rain is going to be in the forecast for today. More so, though, in terms of rain and storms arriving tomorrow, and that is going to linger into our Friday. Fox Radar 3D showing us some heavy rain across the middle of the country. For us here in the Carolinas, we're kind of in the middle of two little areas of low pressure. First, we do have that larger scale disturbance that's off towards our west, and then we have a minor area of low pressure that's really just pushing some moisture onshore from the Atlantic basin. Both of these will be impacting us, but right now we're just kind of sandwiched in the middle, getting protected a little bit from that rain. Now here's a look at temperatures. We're in the 60s and 70s for this hour. 72 degrees in Greenville, 70 in Spartanburg, 73 for Gaffney, and 63 for Brevard and Franklin. So for today's planner, you can expect temperatures to be climbing into the 70s towards lunchtime, and then we're going to peak at 80 degrees for the upstate today, 76 for the mountains, and coming up, I'm going to be detailing out that heavy rain on the way for tomorrow with the chance for some storms. I'll let you know all about it coming up.
Kylie, thanks. Well, 10:02, we're following breaking news from Lawrence where police say that a person of interest in a deadly overnight attack is now in custody. Definitively a sigh of relief for people that are living in the area. Fox Carolina's Lindsay Gibbs has been following this story all morning long for us and is joining us now live from the sheriff's office with the latest updates. Lindsay.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely a moment of calm for the people here in Lawrence, like you mentioned. Now we're here at the Lawrence County Courthouse where police have taken that suspect into custody this morning. Now we can tell you that this has been a manhunt going on all morning. Earlier things were extremely tense, and now, just like you said, there is a moment of relief here. Now take a look at your screen. This is the suspect that has been taken into custody here in Lawrence. Now this is Jeremy Ferguson. He was wanted in connection to that deadly assault earlier this morning. We're told it all happened around 2 a.m. Now this is video of the scene we got of the hotspot off Highway 221 in Lawrence. When we arrived, we saw investigators marking off the ground for evidence. We also witnessed what looks to be a silver sedan being towed off that officers were searching through and taking pictures of. Now I did see deputies interviewing employees around the backside of the gas station, and I did walk over to the scene. We don't know what happened in this deadly assault, but I did witness blood on the ground inside of the gas station. Now, while we were there, I spoke with people who say the suspect is their neighbor. Now, they told me that they are not shocked.
My husband woke me up and told me that I needed to get up and be around, aware of the surroundings and make sure the cameras and all was working at the house, because he is such a danger to people. And like she said, we had a problem down there with him on Monday, threatening to harm the neighbors.
Now we are waiting to see if there will be a press conference held later this morning. That's going to share details like where he was arrested and if there will be a bond hearing. Of course, once we receive that information, we'll be sure to pass it along. Back to you.
Yeah, Lindsay, I know still a number of questions to be answered. We'll, of course, be taking a look at that and following up. Thanks so much. Well, today the president will deliver remarks on the COVID-19 response and the vaccination program. And as Britt Conway reports, there are signs of progress, but experts say that the pandemic is nowhere near over.
Signs of normalcy.
It's just been super strange going from not being allowed to be in public anywhere, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, everybody's outside.
It feels good, though, to be back free.
Signs of progress in the fight against COVID-19. In the U.S., the average daily number of new COVID-19 cases is below 20,000 for the first time since March 2020. And the American Academy of Pediatrics reports the lowest number of new weekly cases in kids since early October. But kids made up about 25% of new cases last week, which is one reason why there's still such a push to get those eligible vaccinated. And that's in addition to the president's goal of getting 70% of adults with at least one vaccination dose by July 4th. CDC data shows 12 states have reached that goal. On a global scale, the latest report from the World Health Organization shows new COVID-19 cases declined for a fifth week in a row. Still, the numbers are high. We're talking millions of new cases every week, which is why U.S. officials are working out how to distribute vaccines to other countries, knowing beating COVID-19 is a global fight.
We have the means to end this pandemic quickly and save countless lives and livelihoods.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Now, according to CDC data, 12 states already reached that goal of having 70% of adults with at least one shot, but South Carolina is not one of them. We've been keeping track of our state's progress in getting people vaccinated, and here are the latest numbers from DHEC. Nearly 45% of people 12 and up have one dose, and almost 37% are fully vaccinated. Now, Moderna is applying for full government approval for its COVID vaccine. The company says that it's submitting trial data to the FDA over the coming weeks. Moderna's vaccine was approved for emergency use authorization in December. To get full approval, the company needs to do a 6-month follow-up. Moderna released those findings in April, showing its vaccine had 90% efficacy after 6 months.
10:07 now. One of the world's largest meat suppliers says a majority of its plants will open today after a cyber attack temporarily shut down production. But now there are concerns about a possible meat shortage or higher prices. JBS closed all of its 9 U.S. plants yesterday after the attack. The plants produce nearly a quarter of U.S. beef supplies. The company has not yet publicly said that it was targeted by ransomware attack, similar to the one we saw last month with the Colonial Pipeline. Now, the White House says it is aware of the situation and indicated a Russian-based criminal group was likely behind it. A cash incentive program to get more people back to work in North Carolina is moving ahead. State senators approved the unemployment incentive, but now Congress has to give the green light. We first told you about this program last month. We've got a breakdown here of how the bonuses would be distributed. $1,500 would go to people who accept re-employment within the first 30 days of the program. From there, the bonus would drop to $800 as time goes by. The payments would come in 2 installments, we know. And we did some research also to find out how someone can qualify for the program. Here's what we found. People would have to make 3 job contacts per week. They'll also need to schedule an interview with an employer within a week of the request. The person would also be required to attend any re-employment activities associated with the job. Now, people will not be able to get those benefits until all of the requirements are satisfied. Well, they have spent their working careers saving for retirement, but too many retirees are afraid to spend. George and Zach from North Star Financial and Retirement Planning are up next to talk about some ways to make sure you'll be able to spend with confidence. And a live look for you at Lake Hartwell as we head to break on this Wednesday, June 3rd. Did you know that it is Leave the Office Early Day? That is a real thing. I don't know if your employer accepts it, but see you later, Ted. We'll hold it down for you. Everybody stay where you are. We're back right after this.
The following segment is sponsored by North Star Financial and Retirement Planning.
It's understandable to have some concerns, even some fears when it comes to retirement. But surveys have found half of retirees are afraid to use their savings. George Fossing and Zach Jenkins are joining us now. They're part of the team at North Star Financial, a local area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. George and Zach are also popular radio show hosts, and they are joining us now. Good morning to you both.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, so half of retirees are afraid to use their savings. What do you make of that?
Well, it's for people that are working and then they retire one day, they realize, hey, we're unemployed. We've got 30 years to make this money last. And the folks we deal with, they have money. They've been saving. They've been putting away their whole lives. So they're savers naturally. At some point, you started having to take money out. That's kind of freaky for a lot of people. All of a sudden, from going from an accumulation to a distribution side of it. And it makes people a little nervous. So we need to address that. That's a big deal. It's where you have to start.
Right. Living like a miser is not what everybody's been working decades for and doing all the planning. So tell us, how do we put ourselves in a position to spend our savings with confidence during retirement?
Yeah, so definitely not. You've worked hard. People work for 30, 40 years. They've worked hard to enjoy their retirement. The last thing you want to do is spend too quickly and run out of money. But again, like you just said, you don't want to live like a miser. You want to enjoy that. Maybe it's going on trips with the grandkids, doing stuff with family you want to do. So, putting together a well thought out, put together plan is key to that. We talk about it all the time. Last week on the show, we talked about giving money jobs. So maybe it's putting money in different buckets, giving it different jobs. So one of the first steps could be creating an income plan. Setting aside some of the retirement savings specifically to fund what we're going to call a self-funded pension. So tax planning can be a big part of that, understanding how Social Security plays a role, and on and on and on. But those are just some of the first few things that we can start addressing when building an effective plan.
Well, and I know building a plan is something you don't want anybody to overlook. Also, people want to emulate the wealthy. Is planning for income something they do?
Absolutely. Who doesn't really? Yeah, you have to. You want multiple ways for your money to come in out there. The big thing too, we share with people is, don't you want to get as much back as possible? No one's guaranteed tomorrow. We want to be able to spend and enjoy. This COVID thing's, getting by us. Things are coming back to reality where we want to be, and understanding you can spend. Let's help you get the most out of your money as you possibly can without fear of outliving it is a huge deal. Like I said, living defensively with your money afraid, that's just no way to go about retirement. And sometimes you just need a guiding hand. That's where we step in on a professional level and put this plan together, as Zach said, and help them out.
Yeah, and everybody wants to be guided into having this reliable income that you talk about. What does that do for our lifestyle overall?
Sleeping at night, it's real simple. Yeah, you're not worrying about money. Not worrying about losing a job because your job is your money, and if it's working for you and it's safe and it's protected, it's a great place. You see people out there, we all know them, they're real nervous. They look at their money, they're just nervous. And the other people are just relaxed, having fun. And those people that usually relaxed, having fun, have a guaranteed source of income. You see a lot of people with pensions, retired teachers, people work with big companies out there. The rest of us that don't have pensions, we need to go ahead and set that up. So you can sleep at night, not worry, have that paycheck come in, and without fear about living it. That's the number one thing, Margaret.
Yeah. So you want to be relaxed. You want to be able to have fun, sleep at night. How can proper tax planning help all those things happen? What do you want us to know before we let you go today?
Well, the big thing with that, Zach and I love to do this, is the more we could put in our clients' pockets as opposed to Uncle Sam's. Mm-hmm. We're like rock stars if we could do that. And it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of learning to do this. Most people are candidates for future tax savings. The big thing we want to just leave with this is a lot of people just had their taxes done and completed. And you worked with your tax professional and did a nice job, or you did it yourself. But have you addressed future taxes? Have you looked at your 401k and say, in 5 years, what's this going to look like? What's my tax situation going to look like? We put that together for folks where the tax preparers don't do. We take over for that. See what your retirement is going to look like on a tax side in 5 or 10 years. Taxes are scheduled to go back up in 2026, right around the corner. Get in front of it. Many people we can help. I think a lot more than we can't. But it's fine. People just find it worth their time to find out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for walking us through it always, and thanks for being here today, George and Zach.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
As always, appreciate it.
And for those of you at home, if you're currently retired or getting close to retirement and would like to learn more about how to help protect and grow your hard-earned savings and investments, North Star Financial has a great offer for you. Right now until August 2nd, they're offering a complimentary no-obligation investment portfolio review. The report will include potential tax savings opportunities and ways to reduce the effects of market volatility on your portfolio. Their team will schedule a phone call, video call, or future in-office meeting so they can speak with you personally and provide you with a roadmap going forward. The number to call now, 309-8146.
Fox Carolina Weather. Weather Rate's certified most accurate local forecast.
Well, go find that umbrella where you hid it away because it's just been so dry the past few days, and we're going to need that rain gear as we head into the end of this work week and even over the weekend. Today it's going to be some isolated showers. Most of us should stay dry, but Thursday and Friday, that's when we'll see some widespread rain at times and the chance for some storms, and some of those storms that develop could go strong to severe, and another round of isolated rain is on the way for the weekend. And here's the culprit. So here's a look at this area of low pressure impacting the middle of the country. Today, we are going to be having clouds continuing to build on in thanks to this onshore flow from the southeast that's pushing across the Carolinas some of that moisture. So today is just going to be some isolated rain, but that disturbance is going to be arriving for your Thursday as well as your Friday. So let's go ahead and map it out on Futurecast as we look ahead towards lunchtime and even dinner time. It's just going to be these hit and miss rain showers, and that's going to be about it. Otherwise, mostly cloudy to cloudy sky conditions. And then looking ahead even more so to our Thursday. Thursday, you need to be aware that we could be having some cells flare up, mainly for the afternoon and evening hours, and some of those could go strong to severe. So here's the look at 1 p.m. That's when the rain will really start to get going, but then it's going to be that cold front that swings on through towards about 6, 7 o'clock. Then it will continue to push down towards the south and east as we head into your Friday morning. So yes, we are looking at some rainy days ahead of us with the chance for some stronger storms. The severe threat for Thursday, so tomorrow, is elevated. It's a marginal risk. Strong gusty winds, hail, and the potential for some brief spin-ups not out of the question. So for your hour-by-hour forecast today, temperatures are going to get toasty. Back into the 70s and 80s we go. 80 degrees for the upstate, holding on to temperatures in the middle 70s for the mountains. So putting everything together for you in your 7-day forecast, we're looking at temperatures in the 80s for these next 7 days for the upstate, 70s and 80s mixed for the mountains. Over the weekend, it's not going to be widespread rain, but a chance of rain will be there Saturday and Sunday and into early next week.
Kylie, thanks. 10:19 in this morning's Health Solutions. A new study says fighting off depression may start with getting out of bed a little earlier. In fact, research showed getting up an hour earlier made a difference. A genetic study of 840,000 people examined the connection between sleep timing and mood. It found shifting sleep time by just 1 hour reduced the risk of depression by 23%. Researchers say the discovery could have important implications for a post-pandemic world as many people get back to normal schedules. Something to keep in mind. 10:20, many people in our area love getting in the water to cool off during the summer, but before you dive in, you'll want to remember a few tips on staying safe. Plus, you might have seen this viral video of a California teen fighting off a black bear. Now, hear from her about the crazy experience and hear the message that she's sending coming up. Heading to break, a live look over Lake Hartwell this morning, or rather, taking a live look over in Murrells Inlet as we see more cloud cover overhead, close to home as well. We'll have a look at that forecast when we come back.
We're back at 10:23. Many Americans are ready for a return to normal, and so are retailers. That's why Walmart is extending its store hours back to pre-pandemic times. Starting this Saturday, the retail giant is going to open stores earlier at 6 a.m. On Tuesdays, though, Walmart will continue reserving those early hours for seniors. Pharmacies and vision centers will resume normal hours starting July 3rd. Seating is also being restored to auto care center waiting areas at Walmart stores, and the retail giant also removing its capacity restrictions. But Walmart is adjusting as necessary to any local or state capacity limits that might be set. And when you are shopping for clothes at Target, there is no more guessing about whether that shirt is going to fit. Dressing rooms are back open at Target. The company says it'll have staff on hand to keep them cleaned. Other major stores are also reopening their fitting rooms, including Kohl's, Gap, and Nordstrom. Over at Sam's Club, here's the big story. Free samples are coming back. The warehouse chain suspended the freebies more than a year ago. Everybody missed them, but samples not coming back in quite the same way. This time, they're going to be in sealed packages and only available on weekends. The company's also exploring new ways to hand out samples, like at the register or through food trucks. You might love having a fresh pedicure, especially this time of year, but it can be hard to find the time or the budget for a trip to the salon. So today's local Steals and Deals has a product to help your toes get ready for sandals season, all in the comfort of your own home. Here is Lisa Robertson.
Hey guys, I think we've all been reading about how important it is to self-care. That means really taking care of yourself from home because maybe you're busy or you're not able to get to a professional salon right now or whatever it happens to be. Luckily, someone has solved that. This is called Salon Step, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, and everyone should have one. And I know my sisters would love it, and I have to send one to my niece in college. But it folds up flat for storage, number one. Number two, great height, perfect height, adjustable angles. This is where you put your foot. Love that. Here's 3 different places for polish, more room to store, a great little shelf here, a drawer here, right? And a magnifying glass. So now your foot is at the right height, the right angle, and you can see. I know. Oh my gosh. It's brilliant, right? I can't believe I didn't think of this. So magnifying glass, good to go. Now you can see what you're doing. It's at the right angle. Your toes look amazing. And when you're done, wait for it, the piece de resistance. It has a little fan. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? So it helps dry your toes. Now, you may think that having a pedicure is a small thing, but as a woman, you know that it's not. It really just makes you feel like you look good and you look your best. Right now on localsteals.com, we have a very special offer on Salon Step. I know you're going to love it. I know that your feet are going to thank you, and I can't wait for you to try it.
Now, because a personal injury attorney bears that burden of proof, that attorney has to build the strongest case possible for their client from the ground up. Richard Smith explains the attorney representing the insurance company only has to poke a few holes in the case to bring the whole thing down. He is next to explain why experience matters. And looking live as we take it a break over Gatlinburg on this Wednesday, June 2nd. We told you it was Leave the Office Early Day. It's also National Rotisserie Chicken Day. So head out early, grab some lunch, and tell them we told you it was okay. We're back right after this. Hope you'll keep it here.
The following segment is sponsored by Smith Injury Law and 300hurt.com.
Who has a tougher job? The attorney who represents the insurance company or your personal injury lawyer? Attorney Richard Smith is here from Smith Injury Law to talk about it this morning. Hi, Richard.
Good morning, Margaret.
Basically, the party that bears the burden of proof and has to build the case from the ground up, you say that's the side putting in the most work, right?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, we have to build the case from the ground up. That's why it's very important that you get an experienced personal injury attorney in your case at the beginning of the case, because mistakes can be made that are very hard to overcome later in the case. We have to prove that the defendant was at fault in a car accident case. We have the burden of proof. We have to prove that your injuries that you're complaining of came from the accident and weren't pre-existing. We have to prove your damages. All of that is the burden of the plaintiff to build your case from the ground up.
And that takes a lot of work. You make a construction metaphor about it. Basically, you're building the strongest case you possibly can from the ground up, and the defense attorney just needs to poke some holes in the case to bring it down, to demolish that case, right?
That's correct. We did a video about that. It's on YouTube. Basically, what's harder, building a building from the ground up, and we showed a construction of a large building, or simply knocking the building down. And obviously it's much easier to knock a building down than to build one. And that's really the right metaphor, because all the defense attorney is doing is just trying to find holes in the case they can poke.
Right.
Poke enough holes, the whole case falls down.
Right, which is why you say that that case has to be built in a really solid way. And it's really important to have an experienced attorney who can do that, who can build the strongest case, and to do that early, right?
Absolutely. Once you've given recorded statements, which we warned about before, once you've talked to the adjuster at length, you can box yourself into a situation where when you decide to get a lawyer later, we can't get you out of the box. So basically, the best thing to do is when you're involved in a serious accident or any type of accident where you're injured, don't wait. Go ahead and contact a lawyer today, and we're here all the time to help you.
At Smith Injury Law, your practice areas include personal injury, workers' compensation, car and truck collisions, and Social Security disability claims. Anything else you want people to think about today, or just know what it's like to work with you?
Well, we're here for you, for our clients. We dedicate ourselves to helping injured people. We don't work for the insurance companies. We work for people who are actually injured. And it's very important to know that we fight hard on the case. We basically take in denied cases. We've had many cases recently where the insurance company just denied the case for no reason. We got the case, very little effort on our part, and now they fully are paying the claim. It happens all the time. If you don't have somebody working for you, the insurance company's job, they don't see their job as making sure you're taken care of. They just see you as a claim, another number, and if they can close that claim for less money, they will.
And you're there to build that client's case as strong as possible. People will want to contact you by calling 300HURT or visiting 300hurt.com. Richard Smith, Smith Injury Law, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Margaret.